Chicago's police superintendent Garry McCarthy was ousted, falling on the sword of unrest over video footage showing the shooting of that 17-year-old Laquan McDonald by police officer Jason Van Dyke. The video surfacing just over a year after McDonald's murder. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel, who originally he stood by McCarthy, this is what he had to say. He said, quote, "To build the trust and confidence of the public, and at this point, in this juncture for the city, given what we're working on, he's become an issue rather than dealing with the issue and a distraction." What harsh words for him, calling him a distraction. He originally stood by him, and to come out and say something like this, it looks like he is taking the heat for everyone, for the perpetrator, the officer charged with murder, for the political unrest. He's really falling on the sword of a lot of things here. What do you make of this, Jose?
Well, they had to get a scapegoat to begin with. For me, Emanuel is really, at the thick of it. When and you think about the conditions and the kind of the context of the story, information that was withheld till after the election for mayor in Chicago, and the fact that the mayor negotiated a $5 million settlement with the family before the family actually began the proceedings for a lawsuit. And now he's trying to fix it. He's trying to clean his hands. He fires the superintendent. But now the reality that he's facing is the fact that the decision that he's going to make in choosing the next superintendent needs to be critical, needs to be really well thought out, because he's the one in charge of building back the relations in a community, in a city that traditionally is very ethnically contained in different areas of the city. Yeah, very segregated.
Notoriously divided city, without a doubt. What do you make of Emanuel, who was the former chief of staff, I believe it was, to Barack Obama during his campaign, now the mayor of Chicago, coming out? He has a very heavy task at hand, picking the next police superintendent because of the segregation issue that you mentioned. What do you make of the case for having a black superintendent or police chief, aka police chief in this case, only because of the divide that's happening now?
The same Emanuel answered that question to reporters, saying that he's not looking for someone of a specific race. He's looking for a professional that can get this job done. Now, John Escalante is the acting superintendent right now. He's the first deputy superintendent to the police, and most of the Latino politicians and the Hispanic community are pushing for him to step into the role permanently. But again, the Black caucus and the Black lawmakers and the political community at large, when John Escalante was appointed, they thought that it was a ill choice because the same thing, the racial tensions in the city. Now, we know that in Chicago, the gun violence is higher in Black neighborhoods, and the authorities and the police departments have kind of like look the other way to do not have to address something that now we see in video, the profound racial anger that is brewing in the city.
There's no denying it. And just to remind our viewers of this case, in case you've been living under a rock, Van Dyke, 37-year-old police officer who was just released from jail on Monday, posting that $1.5 million bail, charged with murder for shooting a 17-year-old kid. And a part of that indictment, I want to point out, I was listening and looking at some of the statements, related to this case, and you had a Burger King worker say, you know what, the police officers made us erase our tape. So their credibility is out the window. They wanted to make this go away. They couldn't make it go away. 13 months later, after a court order, they have to release the murder of McDonald. And only now is Rahm Emanuel saying, you know what, somebody has to go. Oh, it's going to be you.
It's sad. It's sad to see that they're looking for a scapegoat. And when you see a police department that engages in this, some will say, criminal behavior, trying to cover up their tracks of something that is evidently a crime and should be punished with murder, and this guy should be behind bars and not enjoying his freedom throughout a bail, it goes to show that Rahm Emanuel had a really, really uphill battle to make a mayor, and there's a lot of stains in the process. We already know of the secret torture facility that they had in Chicago. So this is just another mark to the tiger.
People are missing. Yes. I mean, a lot of issues going on with the police force.
Exactly.
A lot. Well, just to remind you, the chief of police, the superintendent, is out, and the mayor and city council, they have until March of 2016 to find a replacement for him. All of this in the wake of McDonald's murder and the release of that tape.